My neighbor Ward wore ties every day for years. And when he gave me his collection for my quilting, I had no idea silk was going to be so difficult to work with, which is no reflection on the previous owner. Hi, I'm Becky, and I make videos on quilting and a creative life. It is so quiet in Seattle today, and I'm going to tell you why. It's because today is the Super Bowl and the Seahawks are playing. This is what I'm doing today. I am a lifelong Seattleite, and I do support the Seahawks, but I don't watch the game. So my neighbor, Ward, gave me some ties, vintage silk ties. When he was in his 20s, maybe in his 30s, he worked in California in an industry where he had to wear a tie every day. And so he joined a tie club. And I don't know if it was monthly or quarterly that they sent him ties, these beautiful high-end ties. At first, I didn't know if I should take them or not because I was worried about ruining them. So I think I took initially 5 of them. But once I'd figured out what I wanted to do, I went back to Ward and asked him if I could get some more. And he very graciously gave me some more. And so I'm making a quilt out of them. This tie makes me think of olives in a martini glass, which is also appropriate for Ward. I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera down so that you can see what I'm doing. This is Silk by Robert Talbot. Some of the other ones the silk was much thinner and more difficult to work with. But one of the things that I did when I first got them was I opened one of them to see how much fabric I actually had to work with. I put all of the labels into this bowl, so this one joins it. I'd never appreciated, I don't think, how intricately ties were built. And you can see actually that there is quite a bit of fabric here. I'm making flying geese. Four from each, so that's a total of 8. Working with found fabric has been very interesting. It makes a lot more mess than brand new fabric does. Many, many more threads. And that is a flying geese. So I mean, I don't know, it's not a flying goose if there's just one. These are flying geese. I just need to iron these and then we'll put them together. I did not cut off the tip. And here is the flying geese. I don't have a design board, so I'm going to take you over to my, well, I should say I don't have a wall-mounted design board. I have a design board on the floor. Now I'm not sure where to put it. I'm going to have to do some rearranging. And my plan is to use these extra strips to put a boundary around the quilt. But I'm not going to do it like this. I'm not going to do it in strips. I'm thinking I'm going to make kind of a checkerboard. I'm going to start sewing on the strips of background fabric and putting this together and making the border. I made a 1.5-inch strip from the tie, and then I went and did it for 3 of the other ties. Isn't that gorgeous? This one, which is actually very hard to work with because the silk is so slippery, and this one. I'm going to try this, and then if it doesn't work for some reason, I will do it with other fabrics. Here it is all sewn together, and this is the fabric that is so light. I don't know that that one's going to work. You kind of have to pull it to make it be an inch, but then you can overstretch it too. Kind of hard to show on here, but that's the idea. It's possible that I could go find some fabrics that echo some of these colors. We'll be back with this quilt because I'm going to finish it. I'm going to finish it by next Wednesday. If you look at this one, for instance, it's just so stretchy. It's going to be hard to work with. So what I did was I took these fabric scraps and took them with me down to Pacific Fabrics to look for some fabrics that were similar, that had some of the same colors in them, that I could create the 2 layers of 1-inch squares out of. Let's just look at the fabrics that I got. So this is one. I don't know, is this the best light for this? I think this is going to be a little extra light. So here's one. It's fishing flies, and it's in a nice green color, which is similar to one of the fabrics, this one. So it's not the same, but it's similar. And then I got this, which is a nice dark, subtle, muted blue, and then this orange. And I thought that it sort of played into the orange one here. And then this one I absolutely love. And I do have a fabric with this color of blue, the stretchy one. It's that really stretchy fabric. There's some similarity. And then I got this one. It does echo some of the colors. And then this one's the same thing. It's black. I think I'm kind of in love with owls. And this is one that Ward picked out. And the pattern is too big, but the crows are a theme in my life right now. And I just thought it was very cool fabric. We'll see if I'm able to use this one. And then I got one more fabric that is not actually for this, but the muted colors are also similar to some of the fabrics. And this is my new fabric. It's much crisper, cotton rather than silk. And the way it works is I'm going to put them together. So this makes a fun checkerboard, and I can go ahead and continue with this and make enough to go all the way around the quilt. This is actually to scale. These are each of these squares is an inch. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on with this. I'm going to see if I can get any of these seams to nest. We'll see. The silk is not. It's not an exact fabric. I love these little squares. I am going to have to work hard to get them to run in a straight line, but they don't have to all be exactly an inch. So it's a couple days later, and I have been working on putting together this border, and I've hit kind of a moment. I once heard that every quilter gets to a point with a quilt where they don't like it, where they hate it, where they are not enthusiastic about it, let's say. And I hit that when I first put these strips down and looked at how they looked around the edges of the quilt. It didn't look the way I was expecting. You can see that the colors of the ties are pretty muted, but the edging is just brighter. It changed the look of it for me. So I've been sort of struggling this morning trying to figure out what to do about it. And I have decided to proceed, and this is why. You know, I've been a writer for a long time, and this is something that happens with writing too, where you get to a point where you just think, you know, it's horrible and I'm not going to finish it. I'm going to move on to something else and I'll come back to this. And I know this is just true for me. I don't go back to it. It's how I end up with projects that are unfinished. So I'm going to go ahead and proceed. I'm going to learn what I can learn from this project. And maybe I will like it better once I get it completed, which is going to just be later today. So yeah. I'm going to get sewing. So I just wanted to say one other thing about this quilt and about my decision to just move forward with it, even though I wasn't sure I was going to like it. I am actually not afraid of pivoting, even if it extends the project and even if it makes it longer. If I'm sure that I don't like something and I have an alternate that I know I would like. And my example is that initially I was going to put these foundation paper piece suit and ties on the quilt. I was going to include them because they're a nod to the ties that were originally put in there. And it was my first foundation paper piecing that I've done. I made the pattern. I was very proud of it. I did want to use them, but I'll use them on something else. They just it didn't work. It didn't look right. So I can pivot. I'm not so inflexible. And the other thing is that I have a rule for myself that I can only have, well, I'm going to say 4 quilts going at a time. One is a quilt I'm planning. The second is a quilt I'm piecing. The third is a quilt I'm quilting, which I hand quilt. And the fourth is a quilt that I'm finishing. This tie quilt has been in the piecing category for a long time. I want to finish it up so that I can move my next quilt into the piecing category. Of course, I have one I'm quilting that I have to finish and move out of the way for this one. I know that one of the most common ways for me to drop a project and never finish it is for me to say, I'm going to come back to it later. So anyway, all of that came together to make me move ahead with it, even though I wasn't sure about the pattern. I am looking forward to making the quilt sandwich and quilting it and seeing how it turns out. And one other design element that I still need to figure out is I saved all of these tie tags. I would like to incorporate them somehow into the design, and I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do that. So, for later. Thanks for being here. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.